one, I cannot be the two. Why you on a perimeter, can't even shoot? Oh, you got a whack at jump. We gon' make it rain, no thunder. I ain't tryna sit on the phone, tryna.
Welcome back, man. Week 13 recap, Studs and Duds edition. As you can see by the cover, we have a lot to get to. A lot of bad performances, some good performance, but really, more importantly, bad, very, very bad performances. We're going to start, first and foremost, with this guy. Let me see. This guy right here. Listen, the Giants right now, we're not that good. Obviously, coaching is a big deal. We're firing coaches left and right. Our star rookies are getting benched or concussed or injured. It hurts in every single way. This is probably one of the worst. I can't say one of the worst because we have some bad injuries, but this is the worst non-injury moment of the season. Coming off of an exciting game against the Lions. Listen, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We lost. It was exciting. Shout out Jameis. We're happy to have Jackson Dart back. This was bad. Young Hoku went for it. If you didn't see it, this is what the screenshot is. Young Hoku was kicking a field goal. We didn't get to the end zone, obviously, whatever. Kicking a field goal, and he stubs his toe into the turf. He doesn't slip. He doesn't miss. Wide left, wide right. He doesn't even get his foot on the ball. We're not even, it's just an honorable mention because I don't think it deserved a moment because we get pretty serious when we talk about the duds. But this was so bad. He could have been number one on the list, honestly. If the game wasn't on Monday night, if he would have done this yesterday or during the weekend, he would have got it. But I digress. It's not that important. Our duds are pretty important, but let's get to our studs first. You know, we're a positive channel here. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, I put Bryce Young on here, but it's really the Carolina Panthers as a whole. The game, I don't want to say organization because, hey, listen, you're treading water. I love those memes where it's the Panthers and the Chiefs, and it's like one goofy guy on the golf course and a serious guy. I don't know. I'm sure there's some meaning behind that picture, like, you know, with the actual players. But I just think that meme is funny. Every time the Chiefs win or the Panthers win, you know, they're matched up or vice versa. You know, the Chiefs drop one, Panthers win one, and they're like 6-6 or 7. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty interesting because they're really at the opposite spectrum of, you know, being successful and being just terrible for the past year after year. You know, ever since Cam left, essentially, the Panthers have been bad. Ever since the Chiefs got Mahomes, they've been great. So it's kind of like the opposite. You know, people want to throw in the Browns and Titans, but they've had some good years and bad years in between there, you know. But anyways, Bryce Young, I want to give you your props because I'm not a Bryce Young believer. I definitely didn't think they were going to win this game. The spread was large, and I know he ruined a lot of parlays. Shout out Ave, ruined his parlay. But at the end of the day, did he have to do much? No. The defense played well. Obviously, Matthew Stafford, we're going to get to him later, gave the ball up a few times. But at the end of the day, he did outplay Matthew Stafford. Stafford was 243, 2 touchdowns, 3 turnovers. Bryce Young was 206, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. That wins the game. You know, both running games were playing well. Wide receivers, tight ends, pass catchers making big plays. And at the end of the day, it was just turnovers. I would like to point out that, again, the Carolina Panthers produce turnovers and the offense cannot keep. I know it's the stud edition, but, you know, 3 points. Matthew Stafford gave you 3 turnovers, 1 being a pick six. That's all I'm putting out there. Again, shout out the Panthers. Mike Jackson, pick six. You know, another one thrown in the air, a timely turnover. It was impressive performance by them. They still had to put the points on the board. They still had to cause those turnovers. But anyways, Tyrod Taylor. Shout out Tyrod. It's not a great win. It's not like he beat, you know, I can't even say the Patriots. It's not like he beat the Patriots, you know, the first 11 win team this season. It's not like he beat them, but he beat the Falcons. He beat another old quarterback that, you know, if we ever think of Tyrod versus Kirk Cousins, we think of Kirk Cousins being better than Tyrod, but in their old age, you know, Kirk Cousins coming off the injury, have better weapons. Tyrod Taylor is making A.D. Mitchell look like the best wide receiver on the field. That's impressive, you know. Maybe, who knows, if he never got stabbed in the lungs, you never know. You never know. But we do have the if of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's career started off with an if. You know what I'm saying? Like after Oregon, if Tyrod Taylor didn't get stabbed in the lungs, would Justin Herbert even be? I don't know. I just don't know. I can tell you stats though. Let me bring up stats. Tyrod Taylor was 18 of 33, 172 through the air, one touchdown, no picks, but on the ground he was also 19 of 68, 3.8, 3.6 average. He did it all. You know what I'm saying? And again, AD Mitchell being a trade piece for Sauce Gardner, they were giving him away, knowing that he has talent, but they were giving him away. And for Tyrod to bring that out of him when a lot of people saying Justin Fields couldn't or wouldn't or whatever the case is, it's impressive. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on is Jameson Williams. Listen, I know he had that drop on fourth down, but the whole team, the whole offense was running through him. I understand Amon-Ra got injured early in the game, and he kind of had to be the focal point, at least through the passing game, but the running game wasn't doing anything. Jared Goff, other than targeting him, Jared Goff wasn't doing much. Jared Goff had 256 and Jameson Williams had 144. He was the offense. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs, 20 carries, 68 yards, 3.4 yards a carry. That's not going to get it done. Jameson Williams, 7 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, and a long of 44. He was impressive. And I think he's really misaligned for his immaturity, so to speak. Some of the celebrations have been crazy. I understand that we're a family show, but the refs just beyond bro back. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he has more talent than Amon-Ra. Obviously, speed is one thing, but when it comes to hands, when it comes to route running, I believe he can grow into being the best receiver on his team. If he chooses to be, if he wants to stay with the Lions, who knows? But I believe he has that type of talent. Moving forward, we have Marcus Mariota and Zach Ertz. Excuse me. I put both of them on here. This is the only picture I could find with both of them, at least mentioned in the picture, because of what they did against the Broncos. Listen, I know they didn't win. They did take them to overtime. They shouldn't have been in that game. And past that first interception, well, the only interception that Marcus Mariota threw, which was absolutely terrible. I thought the commentators were going to have a seizure on air watching him, look left, look right, run into the lineman, and then just blindly throw it. I don't know if he was trying to throw it out of bounds or he actually thought he was still going to be open when he looked back after. I don't know. I have absolutely no clue what he was doing, but it doesn't matter because he ended up 20 out of 58. Not great efficiency, but basically 300 yards, 294, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and on the ground he had 10 carries for 55 yards. He was balling. He was doing everything he could. Jaden's more efficient, but he was putting on his best Jaden impression. And then Zach Ertz side of things, again, 10 catches, 106 yards. They're old. They're old guys. You can see the gray and bro hair. They're old guys putting on a show against one of, if not the best defense in the National Football League. I know the Texans are up there. Nobody else comes to mind right now, but Broncos, Texans, Broncos, take your pick. They had a great game against them. Maybe that says a little more about the defense. Maybe they were asleep. Maybe they didn't wake up for the game. I don't know. It's a Monday Night Football game. It's kind of hard. It's a Sunday Night Football game. It's kind of hard to not be awake for that game. But hey, they did it. And last but not least, I got A.J. Brown. Listen, this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I would like to say, I'm going to read you some of A.J. Brown's stats. This is what A.J. wanted to do. And he deserves to be able to do this because wide receivers are not judged based off rings or wins or, dynasties or anything like that. They're based on yards, touchdowns, catches. That's it. No one compares wide receiver and be like, oh, he has 3 rings, he has 2. No, it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. Some of the greatest skill players, when we're talking about running backs and wide receivers, some of those greatest players never won a ring and were just dominant year after year after year. Legendary stuff. Yes, there are some players that, maybe you weren't the best, but you were right there and you got rings, so maybe it put you in the Hall of Fame. But other than that, you just have to be straight out dominant year after year. And A.J. Brown wants to be that. But let me read you these stats. This is his targets, not receptions. Let's just actually, because targets can be deceptive if they're not actually good targets. You know what I'm saying? If that's just a throwaway or a scramble drill where he really wasn't supposed to get the ball, or the quarterback was just throwing it away and it went over his head, it could be deceptive. But let me just show you. 1 reception, 5 receptions, 6 receptions, 2, 5, 6, 4, 2. That's leading up to this week and last week. Against Dallas, 8. Against Chicago, 10. And let me just read yards. 827, 109 against the Rams. Impressive. 743, 80, 121, Minnesota. 1349, and then the last 2 weeks, 110, 132. This is his best 2-game stretch all year. Obviously the Giants and Minnesota games, but it wasn't like this. He didn't have 100 yards back to back all year, but the last 2 weeks. And listen, I'm not mad at him for complaining. Clearly there's something wrong with the offense. He did get his 2 tutties today, or over the weekend. There's something wrong with the offense. It's not his fault. He is the one saying the most. But at the end of the day, I don't understand how a team can be worse when they're targeting their best player. You know what I'm saying? How can you score more points when you don't target A.J. Brown versus when you do? It makes no sense to me. Against Dallas the first time around, you scored 24 points. He has 1 catch for 8 yards. This time you scored 21 points against Dallas. He has 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. How does that make sense? Why is giving your best player, one of your best players, I mean, Saquon hasn't had a good year. Why is giving one of, if not the best player on your offense, skill player, the ball, how does that hurt your offense? That makes no sense. There's no comp with Chicago, but you scored 15 points. Is that the lowest all season? No, they had 10 against Green Bay, 16 against Detroit. But the lowest in a loss, because they had 2 losses where they scored 17. So 15 points is one of your worst outputs of the season, and your man had 132 yards. He had the most yards of the season, and the team scored their lowest amount of points. How does that make sense? They scored 33 against the Rams, just to be fair, and he did have 109 yards, 6 catches. Just putting that out there. But against Chicago, lesser team than the Rams, we believe, all these yards, all these catches, 15 points. It makes no sense. I don't know. But on to more serious matters, the duds. Dan Campbell, listen, don't need the stats for these, because these are all very serious when it comes to playoff implications, Super Bowl implications. 4 out of 5 of these are Super Bowl hopefuls. But Dan Campbell, listen, you cannot get beat by the Lions the way you did game 1, recover from it, and then lose again to them. Listen, I understand Amon-Ra St. Brown was injured, but at the same time, I don't really care. I'm sorry. You have to beat this team. It seems like your Super Bowl window came and went like that. It's embarrassing what's happening this year, 7-5, even though where you came from was 0-16. I understand that. If we're looking at big picture, you're still up. Proud of you, all that good stuff. But that's no longer the standard. The standard is no longer win a couple games. You should be winning and dominating your division, because that's what we expect from you guys. I think you've made it work with Jared Goff. Jared Goff has played exceptionally well year after year for you guys. I'm not saying, he's holding you back. I'm just saying that's the quarterback you went for. That's the quarterback you wanted to keep. That's the quarterback you believe in. This is the team. Your defensive players are back. I love your defensive head coach, or your defensive coordinator, I mean. Dan Campbell, you got to do better. You can't be losing to the team that is one of the most disappointing teams in the NFC. In terms of, once they got Micah, everybody thought Super Bowl bound, myself included. And they've, lost to the Browns, lost to this team, just had some wild upsets. But against you, they seem like they got it all together. I don't know, Dan. You're going to have to figure that out, and hopefully figure that out for the playoffs, because I can't even say in the playoffs. We need to figure out for the playoffs so you get to the playoffs. Moving forward, like I said, 4 out of 5 of these Super Bowl hopefuls. Kevin O'Connell. Listen, I used to be a Kevin O'Connell fan. I thought he was doing great things in Minnesota. Not only, when Kirk Cousins was there, but, he had a good year with Sam Darnold. And now we have J.J. McCarthy. I'm not mad at you. Let me say this clearly. I don't know what you saw in Sam Darnold in the beginning of last year to give him that starting job in the first place. If it was just JJ's injury, you gave it to him, you saw what he did, but I don't know what you saw in JJ to make you think he was going to be better than Sam. Obviously, I have my doubts about Sam. Everyone does, or everyone did, and some of us still do currently. But the fact of the matter is, Sam, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins isn't, I mean, he's better than what JJ was giving you. And this week, I know JJ didn't even play, obviously, but uh, I believe it's a soft benching. Let me tell you what Max Brosmer did. He went 19 of 30, 126 yards with 4 picks. QBR of 5.6. You heard me right. 5.6. Kevin O'Connell, I don't want to call you a quarterback whisperer, but I thought you were an offensive mastermind, an offensive genius, really making it work with what you have, but not saying like you don't have any weapons, because when you had Aaron Jones and you have a great defensive coordinator and obviously the best wide receiver in the league, in my opinion, and Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, at Jordan Addison. But again, without a quarterback, you have nothing, and it might be too late for you. You moved on from multiple quarterbacks trying to get the best one, and it seemed like you just got less and less. I love me some Kirk Cousins, and I think he played well for Minnesota. I think he's what you guys needed. But then you went to Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold was good. But now you're on to J.J. McCarthy, and he wasn't playing well, and now he's probably the laughing stock of the NFL, honestly. Every time someone plays bad, they put their quarterback, like we're going to talk about somebody, they put his face on JJ McCarthy's body. It's bad. Every time the word 9 comes up, it's bad. So you drafted that quarterback. You decided that he was going to be your next man up, that he was going to lead you to the promised land, and now you're going to lose your job because of it, when you could have had Sam Darnold. And again, I don't know if Sam Darnold's great. I don't know if Daniel Jones is great, but they're playing great in the system that they have. Your system was working. And maybe you thought JJ McCarthy was better than he was, and he's not, clearly. Shout out to him and his family, though. Moving forward, again, playoff team, Super Bowl aspirations. Super Bowl defending champions, Nick Sirianni. Nick, like, I went on talking about the Eagles during the A.J. Brown rant, but you can't be scoring points with your best player on offense, but not be scoring points as a team. You can't get run all over by the Chicago Bears when you're supposed to have one of the best defensive lines, at least the interior, I believe, in the whole football league. That just can't happen. Again, it's the whole AJ Brown thing is weird. It's very, very weird. I expect more from this team, even though they're in my division. I don't want to see you guys win. You guys have so much talent, offense and defense. You guys should figure it out. You're an offensive guy. You're on this list too much. Sometimes as a stud, mostly as a dud. You need to fix it. Week after week, you're on this list because you're losing games you shouldn't lose to. And Chicago is a better team than they were last year, but I don't know if they're a good enough team for you guys to lose to. Let's just say that. And now, with the Cowboys playing better, I don't know. It's getting mixy with you. Saquon is still not hitting. Jalen Hurts has to do better. It's just, hey, now or never. It's the home stretch. Let's get it done. And I'm not a fan. I'm just saying, you Eagles fans need to get it done. Anywho, Matthew Stafford. We all know we would have to talk about Matthew Stafford. He's only number 2 on this list because they had a chance to win the game. His first 2 picks in the first half. The first one, deflection. It wasn't like a bad decision. Hey, it got deflected. Defense makes a play. Good job. The second one, the ball was behind Puka Nacua. Mike Jackson, pick 6. At your big age, Matthew Stafford, and again, you can see the grays. Obviously, you can't be late to the outside. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Late to the outside is a picks the other way. Didn't like how you try to go for the tackle. I don't even know if you're a tough guy. I know you're a tough guy. Georgia, Detroit. Now you've always been tough. High school, I bet you were a tough guy in high school. I don't know, but going for that tackle during the pick 6, knowing that you have a bad back, and you're old, or automatically you're old, and you might re-aggravate that back. I didn't like that decision. Even if you were to get to Mike Jackson, to think he wasn't going to stiff arm you, juke you, track you, bad decision. Obviously, the fumble is what hurt you because you were driving down, I believe, to win the game. Even if you would have won the game, you would have been on this list because I don't believe the Panthers are that good. But anyways, you fumble the game away, you lose to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. And you might have fumbled with that fumble. You might have fumbled away your MVP, and that's huge because that might be for your not only an MVP at the end of the year, seeding for the playoff for this year, Super Bowl champion, but most importantly for you is your Hall of Fame. A lot of people are saying Matthew Stafford this year and this MVP that he's going to get at the end of the year is going to solidify a Hall of Fame career. And you might have fumbled that away. Listen, can you still get into Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champion, so many Triple Crown winners under your name? Absolutely. You still have the opportunity to do that. But that MVP would have been very nice for you. And last but not least, something that hurts my heart, but I knew from game one that this team was out of it, but I didn't know this quarterback was going to be, well, out of it. Lamar Jackson. Listen, Lamar, everyone loves you. I think the only people that don't love you are on TV. I don't think there's anybody in real life. And maybe if you get those people on TV in real life, they wouldn't say what they say about you. And I'm not saying they're hating or spreading lies or anything like that. But Lamar Jackson is such a beloved character in the NFL storyline. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to root for Lamar because of what happened in the beginning of his career. But not only that, because he makes amazing plays week after week after week, except for the last couple of weeks. Listen, he came back from injury, had a monster game against Miami, 18 for 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Those are the type of game, through the air, obviously. Those are the type of games we want to see from Lamar, or are used to seeing from Lamar. More touchdowns than incompletions. Running game as well, obviously. Derrick Henry's doing his thing. Defense is doing their part. And recently, the defense has been doing their part more often, but you haven't been doing yours. And like I said, since the Miami game, these are his completion percentages: 58, 56, 56, 53. And these aren't all great defenses. Minnesota, you won. But hey, that wasn't a good game from you. Cleveland, again, you won. Good defense. Not completely mad at it, but 2 interceptions. Divisional game. Don't love it. The New York Jets, yes, I understand you win, but 56% is not getting it done. 13 for 23, 56%, 153 yards. You didn't win because of you. And then last but not least, against the returning Joe Burrow and their terrible defense. It's not like the Cowboys defense that was terrible and, got some good players, got some players back from injury, and now they're playing better, along with their great offense. It's the Cincinnati Bengals, the ones that gave away players, the ones that rookies aren't panning out, the ones that the defensive coach, they're just bad. We know the Cincinnati Bengals are bad. They were playing well with Joe Flacco on the offensive side, but their defense was still giving up 40, 30 points a week. So for you to show up to the game and only score 14, go 17 of 32, and multiple turnovers, it's just a bad look. It's just a bad look. I believe he had a fumble. It's only showing me his pick here, but I believe he had a fumble. Yeah, whatever. It was a bad game. That's not good enough. Division rival. You're supposed to be in the hunt for your division crown. Steelers are looking bad, losing to James Cook's 32 carries for 144 yards. I think it was 144. So losing to James Cook, Aaron Rodgers is injured. This is your opportunity to shine. And Lamar, you're letting us all down. Respectfully, you're letting us all down. We all want to root for you. Me personally, you're my... Okay. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. That is the studs and duds for week. Oh, I didn't even change it. It's week 13. It says 12 here. It's week 13. Get with me on TikTok, Twitter. You know the vibes. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you don't agree with any of my takes, we can argue about it. Get on the podcast, get in the comments, whatever you want to do. You can subscribe to my channel right here. In this other corner, you should get with my TikTok and my Twitter. And in this corner right here, you can watch any more reaction videos, vlogs, or watch any more takes. Till then, see y'all. God bless.